We're going to be talking about some more storyboards and buttons. Really, storyboard buttons. That's going to be the thing. Theming storyboard buttons, right? So, if you look at our screen right here that we created in our, well, we worked on in our last thing. Hold on. Here we go. Zooming in. Okay. So we've got these two buttons here, but they're very square looking, and I don't like that. If I look at how this rendered on the screen, I got this over here, we're going to see a few differences, right? So first of all, we've got this Grim World title has like a rounded circle thing. The start button is rounded. It's got a yellow border, and I don't know if you can see it, but there is a gray shadow there. It's hard to see. I don't know what's going to pick up in the rendering software. And I want this on these other views, right? So how am I going to do that? Well, the very easiest thing I can do is I can come over here to the start button that I already have done, press down Alt, hold and click with my mouse or trackpad or whatever I'm using, and now I've got a copy, right? And then I can just change this to credits, right? No. Size got a little bit bigger now, but nah, it's fine. That's fine. So this one is the first one we did. I'm going to put this over here. Gonna put this one over here. And I'm going to hit the run button, but I'm going to try the simulator and see if that works at all. So what simulator do I want to use? I think the iPhone 14 works. And I'm going to hit play, and we're going to see what happens here. While that's loading, it takes a while for the simulator to build and everything. Let's kind of look at what's going on with the credits here, because I'm actually doing something very abnormal, right? If I open up the inspector pane, you'll see that I've got all these corner radius, border width, border color, shadow offset, shadow color, should rasterize, swoop. That is all custom code that I kind of expose using IB designables and IB inspectables. I took off the designable portion because it tends to fuck up storyboards. It just causes too much strain to load properly. So I try not to do that. So that's how I got this button here. When we click over on our standard button that we got from pulling down here, you'll see that we don't have any of the corner radius, any of the other lines and buttons and stuff to do that. So how are we going to make this button look like this button, right? And let's check on our simulator and see what's going on. Oh, simulator's still loading. Fantastic. Let's create a new button from scratch again, because why not? And we're going to click and drag it in, right? And so far we don't know how this other button's going to work. Okay, so this is going to be another credits button. And to make it that other yellow color, I'm going to go to the background, and I think that might be it. That might be it. I'm going to click on here. See these little guidelines? It will help you line up with other objects, kind of. If I want to go for the width, I can come over here and wait for it to load, and then just kind of pull it over. And you know, this is just dragging and dropping, so it's not too bad, right? So checking on that load. Still loading. Okay. Let me go into the code of this class right here. If I come over to here, it says custom class UI button GUI. Yeah, so that's the class where I have all this custom code in. Whenever I want to use it, I would just come up to another button right here. I would get the drop down and I'd click UI button GUI. And then I'd be able to come over here and see all the new things. And if I take it back, I'm like, nah, I just want the standard UI button. Come back over here to the inspector. All those options are gone. So it helps to write custom classes to use the IB inspectables. That way you can get like the full functionality of these. Well, I use it. Other people don't like storyboards, but again, it's pretty easy to use if you've got everything exposed. So let's go look at that. Rasterize and swoop. I know I did them. I just used a bad naming convention, I guess. What is swoop used for? Let's take a look. Even used for anything? It's not even used for anything. Should rasterize. Is this used for anything? It's not used for anything. Search my project for a swoop. Not used for anything. Well, I think I can safely delete that. Nah, let's not delete it just yet, because I don't remember, and it's just taking this simulator so long to finish. Sorry, if I'll keep on talking about the code then. So if you've ever written a variable before, I should have started with this. How do you write a variable? What is a variable? Variables are these thingies up here that kind of show us different dimensions of this UI class, this object, this class. So it could be your height, it could be your weight, it could be a color, it could be a size, it could be anything. And each one of these, I'll kind of go over them. A float value is it's a numerical value with a decimal. The zeros go on for quite a time. A bool is a yes or no. A float, again, we already talked about. A UI color. This is a color. Basically it's a color, but it's a special type of color. We've got UI color and we've got CG color, and then we've just got color. So if you see a UI color, you got to put a UI color on the other side. You can't do mix and match. You can't say, hey, this is a UI color class, but I'm going to use a CG color. Even though we're both going for black, it doesn't fucking matter for whatever reason. We'd have to kind of wrap these other color data objects. So that's what that is. The CG size is, again, the size determined by width and height. And that's all the ones I wrote in here. So I've got a few other functions here. This will cause it to transition in from the left or right, because sometimes I like to animate my buttons as they're coming in. So that's that. Okay. From left. Okay, going back to the storyboard, because why not? All right. So let's put this back on. Looking at this custom class pane, when I click over on the credits, one of the things that it's done is it's kind of exposed all these user-defined runtime attributes, and these are the corner radius, the border width, the shadow color, all these things that we talked about before. Now they just look a little bit different, right? We can put these in ourselves on this other credits class right here. So I can go hit key path, and I can say corner radius, and I can call it a boolean, and it will be yes or no. I can check that. Now, why I'm doing this is incorrect, by the way. Corner radius is not a boolean value. It's a numerical value. How many pixels do we want to round this edge off to? So when we look over here, we'll see corner radius is a number, and that number is 12, right? Hold on, I need to get a drink of water.